Tulsi, you and I came into the Congress together in 2013. And Cash, you and I was serving on the Intelligence Committee when you worked on the Intelligence Committee. And John, you and I are both from Texas, and we both served together on the Intelligence Committee. The idea that this information, if it was presented to our committee, would not be classified, y'all know is a lie. That's ridiculous. I've seen things much less sensitive be presented to us with high classification. And to say that it isn't is a lie to the country.
San Antonio U.S. Congressman Joaquin Castro there during House Democrats' questioning of Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, and John Ratcliffe of Texas yesterday. You can hear the seriousness of the situation in the congressman's voice there. Quite a moment. It's Thursday, March 27, 2025, and this is the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch. Rapid response on the breaking news stories Texas progressives need to know. I'm Chris Mosier. Serious indeed, but also Chris Lehman at The Nation calls this, quote, the dumbest fascist timeline ever, unquote, as what's coming to be known as Signalgate, a growing scandal in which several of Donald Trump's picks for the top echelons of our military and national security apparatus used a common consumer-level chat platform to discuss highly sensitive and then currently ongoing combat information. At the center is Texas's own John Ratcliffe, Trump's director of the CIA, who was back before the Congress for a second day yesterday. Lehman writes that it's pretty plain that this chat violated the basics of the Espionage Act, which requires war planning to occur under a set of tightly controlled and carefully crafted conditions in order to prevent hostile surveillance. Signal, in particular, has been and is still a prime and frankly easy target for foreign hackers to penetrate. The more we learn about this, the worse it gets. In the case of the West Texas measles outbreak, it's kind of the opposite. The more we ignore science, the worse it gets. And compounding that is the pseudoscience that fills that void. Nora Al-Sabai at Futurism writes on a complication that's rising in West Texas alongside the still brewing measles outbreak, cases of vitamin A poisoning in children whose parents have followed the advice of crackpots like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and instead of getting their kids vaccinated, have started feeding them vitamin A. Liver damage, yellowed skin, headaches, nausea among the symptoms as vitamin A builds in the body and doesn't flush out. It's not a good idea to take this stuff regularly for long stretches of time. Even Catherine Wells, the director of public health in Lubbock, is dumbfounded by this approach, saying of RFK's vitamin A recommendation for measles, quote, I did not hear anything about vitamin A until he said it on television, unquote. Meanwhile, another MAGA crackpot character suddenly looms over the measles situation as Elon Musk and Doge now stand to make things worse as well. Terry Langford at the Texas Tribune also talked to Catherine Wells on this week's announcement that the feds are yanking $11 billion in COVID-era funding for public health departments. Wells says this will definitely impact her office's efforts to fight the measles outbreak, as Lubbock has been using 3 grants to help pay for temporary staff, a part-time nurse, and a full-time epidemiologist to help with vaccinations, testing, and more. This funding was expected to continue through next year. Wells says, quote, it's kind of crazy to have this funding cut. I don't have a savings account in public health, unquote. We had a talk yesterday on those 2 new abortion clarification bills at the Texas Ledge with Austin State Rep. Donna Howard, who is a co-author of the House version. We'll publish that podcast later today. And the reason for our invitation to Rep. Howard was for straight talk and, frankly, clarification on a bill ostensibly designed to provide the clarification on medical exceptions to our near-blanket ban on abortion here in Texas that have been so hard fought for, a bill that's been criticized by some as potentially allowing an entrenchment of that abortion ban and possibly an expansion of legal targets for Ken Paxton's office. We had a great talk, highly recommended this afternoon or following this pod in the feed. ProPublica's work highlighting the needless and tragic deaths of 3 Texas women was instrumental here. They have an update on the differences between the Texas bills and similar legislation in Kentucky, which indeed carried Trojan horse legal components and was vetoed on Tuesday by Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, who decided their bill would put patients further at risk. All that considered, it's frankly no surprise that advocates for reproductive freedom in Texas might suspect the devil in these details. See an update from ProPublica in the show notes and stay tuned this afternoon for our talk with Representative Donna Howard. We've talked about another bill presented for the third time now by Deer Park Republican State Rep Briscoe Cain, who somehow keeps getting reelected, that would allow a state takeover of the city of Austin, converting it into a special district akin to Washington, D.C., and essentially dismantling any local control in our state's capital city. Quite a scene yesterday, as not only did the House Committee on State Affairs vote unanimously 11-0 to reject Briscoe's bullshit, but they laughed out loud as they did it. Must see video in the link from KVUE TV in the show notes. And meanwhile, Briscoe Cain's grown a little mustache that isn't really working. On that note, a prominent politician has emerged from the shadows of a truly historic defeat. Brahmi Balarzhan at the Houston Chronicle says former Dallas Congressman and senatorial candidate Colin Allred is seriously considering another bid for Senate next year, this time against senior Texas Senator John Cornyn. I almost want to issue a trigger warning here. But let's re-examine what happened last time Colin Allred ran for Senate. His campaign raked in and spent over $80 million, only to backpedal from a 3-point loss to Ted Cruz by Beto O'Rourke in 2018 to a 9-point loss to Ted Cruz last year. Colin Allred essentially ignored and avoided progressive issues and progressive platforms, including ours here at Progress Texas, in his efforts to appeal to moderates, leading to essentially no grassroots support to speak of. We talked yesterday about a growing frustration among Americans at the weak response to Trump 2.0 that they perceive from the Democratic mainstream. And I would say that Colin Allred's campaign against Cruz and the defeat that resulted served as a catalyst to that frustration. Certainly did for me. There are many ways that Colin Allred could help move the needle in Texas, but my opinion here, running for the Senate again might not be the best way. If you're going to be in Austin this weekend and anywhere near the UT campus, be advised that there's a truly bizarre gathering going down starting tomorrow. The Austin Chronicle reports on the Natal Conference, an event promoting pro-natalism, which is a belief in maximizing births in response to declining birth rates, which proponents believe threaten civilization. Featuring a wide range of speakers, including advocates for genetic selection and pseudoscience that aims to legitimize racism. At the center of this is the embrace of the concept of eugenics, the debunked theory at the heart of policies that drove the Holocaust. The politics are clear here, too. Natalists espouse a directive for conservatives to reproduce more so as to eventually outnumber liberals, implying that our political views have a genetic basis. Truly, truly wacky stuff, but this movement is growing fast, and it won't surprise you to learn that Elon Musk finds this stuff fascinating. Watch out for weirdos around UT this weekend. A lot more fun, frankly, happening in College Station around Texas A&M tonight as Draggieland goes down, 7:30 this evening. Really impressed with A&M's Queer Empowerment Council and our friends at FIRE for their inspiring stand against oppressive university policies that sought to ban the show. We hope that inspiration continues to spread. Draggieland tonight, Rudder Theater on the main A&M campus in College Station. Again, it starts at 7:30. Ticket link once again in the show notes. Aggieland progressives, y'all show up now and support. Going to be a blast. And speaking of blasts, Progress Texas is proud to welcome San Antonio Mayor Ron Nierenberg as our guest for a live podcast taping and fundraising party on Tuesday, May the 6th in San Antonio, and you are invited. We look forward to a long overdue and fun get-together with y'all at our Party for Progress in San Antonio. Mark that date again, Tuesday, May the 6th, live pod taping with Mayor Ron Nierenberg and good fun with you. We are excited. See the show notes and grab your tickets right now. Our mission at Progress Texas is to counter the conservative disinformation machine, but they far outmatch us in funding. Oil and tech billionaires and religious right-wing activist groups spend a lot of money keeping their audiences in the dark. If you've come to appreciate the light we shine on important political news in Texas on a daily, ongoing basis, please know that our regular, everyday listeners, just like you, form the backbone of our funding here, and we could use your support as a monthly contributor. No amount is too small. Go to progresstexas.org/donate. Thanks to Joanna Russo-Cade, Ivan Friedman, and Gene Robinson, all three of whom are on the team. We appreciate y'all very, very much. That's the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch for this Thursday, March 27, 2025. Links to all these original stories can be found in our show notes. Progress Texas is a nonprofit rapid response media organization promoting progressive messages and actions. While campaigns come and go, we're the permanent home for progressive media and action in the Lone Star State. I'm Chris Mosier. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.